Close your eyes for a moment. Can you feel it? The smell of rain falling on the green fields. The sound of the wind through the stone walls. The rough touch of a wool sweater against your skin. If you grew up in Ireland in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those were simpler times. Times when we didn't need much to be happy. Just our friends, the freedom of the open fields, and boundless imagination. Do you remember Saturday mornings? You'd wake up early, even without an alarm clock. The smell of bacon and fried eggs wafted from the kitchen, mixed with the aroma of warm bread fresh from the oven. Your mother was always wearing an apron, her hair tied back, humming softly as she prepared breakfast. After breakfast, it was time to go out. And what freedom that was. There were no cell phones. There were no tablets. Just you, your friends, and the whole street as an amusement park. You ran through the fields, jumped over stone walls, played hide-and-seek among the old trees. Your knees were always muddy, and Gaelic football. Ah, that was pure passion. It didn't matter if you were in Cork, Dublin, Galway, or Kerry. Everyone knew the rules. Everyone played. On improvised fields, with goals made from jackets left on the ground, you spent hours kicking the ball, shouting, laughing, competing. It was more than a game. It was identity. It was belonging. Do you remember Sunday afternoons with the family? After Mass, everyone would gather in the living room. Grandmother sitting in her usual chair, knitting silently. Grandfather reading the newspaper with his glasses perched on the tip of his nose. The children on the floor playing with simple dolls. The television on, showing the Reardons or Wanderley wagon. And between programs, the conversation, stories told by the elders. The clothes you wore, nothing expensive or trendy. Remember the wool sweaters, those thick, warm sweaters that your mother or grandmother knitted during the long winter months. They were a little itchy, it's true, but they kept you warm on cold nights when the wind blew strongly from the Atlantic. And the food, the traditional Irish food that warmed the body and soul. The steaming Irish stew in the deep plate, the taste of the slow-cooked meat, the soft potatoes, the sweet carrots, the bacon and cabbage on Sundays, the still warm soda bread with melting butter on top. Simple food, but made with love. Food that tasted like home. Do you remember the winter nights when it got dark early and everyone gathered around the fireplace? The fire crackled. The flames danced, casting shadows on the walls. The warmth enveloped you like a blanket. And there, in that cozy space, the stories returned. Stories of leprechauns and banshees. Ancient tales passed down from generation to generation. The games were so simple and yet so magical. You didn't need expensive toys. A piece of rope became a jumping competition. An old ball provided hours of fun. Flat stones became game pieces on the ground, and the handmade rag dolls were treasures. You played until the sun went down, and the summers, the Irish summers, they might not have been the warmest, but they were the freest. You'd go to the beach in Donegal, in Clare, in Kerry, the sand between your toes, the icy sea that made you scream when you went in. But you went in anyway, and you laughed, and you played in the waves, and you built sandcastles that the sea would wash away in a few hours. Do you remember the small village shops, Mr. Murphy's or Mrs. O'Brien's shop, where you'd buy sweets with the few coins you had, where everyone knew each other by name, where the conversation was as important as the purchase? It wasn't just commerce, it was community, it was neighborhood. And school, the wooden desks, the smell of chalk, the ruler in the teacher's hand who didn't hesitate to use it when necessary. It was strict, yes, but there you also learned discipline. You learned respect. You learned the value of effort. And you learned from teachers who truly cared. Sundays at church, everyone dressed in their best clothes. The Mass in Latin, mysterious and solemn. The organ playing. The voices united in song. And afterward, in the churchyard, the adults would chat while the children ran among the old tombstones, reading the names of people who had lived centuries before. And there was a sense of continuity in that. Do you remember those old bicycles? The one you inherited from your older brother or cousin? Rusty, with a torn saddle, but it took you everywhere. Along the dirt road to your friend's house. The feeling of the wind on your face. Absolute freedom. No specific destination. Just you and the open road. The fairs and festivals. The market days where animals, fruits, and vegetables were sold. Where musicians played fiddle and bodhrán on street corners. Where people danced. Where people laughed. Where the community gathered to celebrate life, the harvest, and traditions. And you, still a child, absorbed it all. The music entered your soul, and the friends. Those childhood friends with whom you played, fought, laughed, grew up. Some are still in your life. Others followed different paths, but they all left a mark. They are all part of who you are today. Because you grew up together, under the same gray skies, on the same green earth. There were difficulties, of course. Life wasn't perfect. Many families faced financial hardship. Many emigrated in search of a better life. Winter could be harsh. But there was something in those days that is missing today. A sense of community, of belonging, of knowing you weren't alone, that you had roots, deep roots in that green land. And now, so many years later, when you close your eyes, you can still go back. Back to the fields where you ran, to the streets where you played, to the kitchen where your mother cooked, to the fireplace where you warmed yourself, to the stories you heard, because those memories don't fade. They live within you. They are part of who you are. If you grew up in Ireland in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, you are part of a special generation. A generation that knew simplicity, that lived without technology, but with such a wealth of real experiences, that played freely, that learned the value of family, community, and land. And these lessons, these values, are eternal. So, close your eyes once more, take a deep breath, and feel the Irish wind on your face. Hear the distant sound of church bells. Smell the rain on the earth. See the endlessly green fields. And smile, because you have been blessed. Blessed to have grown up in Ireland. Blessed to have lived those magical days. And blessed because, no matter where you are now, that Ireland of your childhood lives forever in your heart. And you, what do you remember from your Irish childhood? What memory makes you smile? What smell transports you back? Share with us in the comments. Because these stories deserve to be told. These memories deserve to be celebrated. Thanks for watching.